Welcome to the Professor Slots Podcast. You know how you put a lot of time and energy into your slots play for not nearly enough wins? Yeah, I get it. I'm here to help you change that. If you're trying to accelerate your slots momentum, become more profitable, and win more than ever before, today's episode will help you move forward with confidence. And now to help you with over a decade of experience working with slots enthusiasts just like you, here's Dr. John Friedel, also known as Professor Slots. Hello, slots enthusiasts. It's great to Hello, slots enthusiasts. It's great to hang out with you again for another Professor Slots podcast episode I do every few days to help you improve your slots performance, leave with your winnings, and ultimately change your life for the better. And hopefully I'm going to change your life a little bit today so you can visit your casino and play slots smarter. And sometimes the best way we can do that to change slots enthusiasts' lives for the better is when they enter a business relationship with us. They become a client, they buy our online courses, they start getting coaching from us, whatever the case may be, because you have ways to take advantage of your casino, which allows you to impact how much you win and then leave with your winnings. In case you missed it on my last episode, I went over why your emotions matter to winning at slots, the Iowa slots industry, and provided a Q&A session from one of my past live streams. I hope you enjoyed listening to my last episode as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Today's episode number 188 includes a review of the slots industry in Kansas later in the episode, followed by a Q&A session from a prior live stream. But I'll begin for you today with top 5 misunderstandings of slot machine gamblers. What gets in the way of slots enthusiasts winning jackpots is often themselves. I hear these top 5 misunderstandings all the time. I share them here so you can stop these mistakes from getting in your way as you successfully travel along on your slots journey. Number 1, you'll win eventually at slots. What? Sorry, no. This is an aspect of gambling problems trying to convince you to play more. Chasing wins isn't winning. Having a feeling the slot machine you're playing is going to pay out is usually just an emotional reaction. To win, you need a better plan than thinking, eventually I'll win. Giving back all your winnings because you can't walk away is because of an emotional reaction. For some, they take it as a challenge from the machine. Others see bets ending in almost wins that make them think, just a few more bets because I can see a win is due. If you were going to win, it would have already happened, and you can lose all day long on some slot machines and the casino will happily accept your money. Why wouldn't they? Number 2, casinos just take your money. Casinos are businesses, and it doesn't matter what the business is, dissatisfied customers are bad for business, but slots enthusiasts must be coerced in playing their money. This is part of the reason my 5-spin method works at 1 in 4 casinos in every casino in Las Vegas. Here, the casino says, sit down and, oh my gosh, you won. Now put it back in. Spend it, put in the money you have in your pocket, spend that, go get more money, and spend that too. All because of that first win. And you know what? The customer walks away happy. See, you can win at slots and the casino won't be upset if you give it all back. Call it a win-win scenario for both you and the casino. Why? Because you don't blame the casino for giving it all back. You blame yourself because you didn't see the subtle manipulation of that first win. That's the casino's plan. Number 3, there are winning game themes. I get asked this question all the time. What game do you recommend? And I say something like, I like winning machines, which is true. Some slots enthusiasts, hopefully not you, mix up player appeal with winning. Like some people mix up with help from the casinos and slot manufacturers getting bonus rounds versus winning money. Player appeal is nostalgia from playing in the past. Bonus rounds don't guarantee coming out with a profit. Some of the newest slot machines being placed in casinos now allow you to add extra to your bet so that you're guaranteed a bonus round every time. This feature came from Online Gambling for Real Money, which has had it for a while. It's a money maker for operators. So, of course, brick-and-mortar casinos requested that feature from slot manufacturers, and ta-da, they got it. Because you love bonus rounds so much, you'll pay extra to experience them. But will you make a profit? Not likely, as that bonus round excitement was what you paid for, not making a profit. Another reason slots enthusiasts think that some games are winners is because they've won on them at some other casino. But they didn't win because it was that game theme, not exactly. They won because it's a popular game that everyone wants to play, so the casino put them in an area which is highly visible to a lot of people watching. And those watchers wait for those machines to become available. But the casino only makes one of those machines a winner, which is a profitable situation for casinos because of all the other identical machines in that row where slots enthusiasts lose. Number 4, wins under $1,200 aren't taxable. Jackpot wins under $1,200 not being taxable? Well, the IRS disagrees. They say all gambling income is taxable. Not that you will be taxed automatically, but rather that it's taxable. There's a difference. This is where gambling records help. Do you make money gambling? If you don't keep gambling records, you don't know. But you don't just record your wins, but also your losses. If your losses exceed your wins, the IRS recognizes that. All other tax circumstances aside, then you only pay income taxes on your profit. But this is where the IRS puts their foot down. The IRS wants to see if your losses exceed your wins, or if not, how much was your profit. They don't want you to do the math. The IRS says they want to do the math. Thank you very much. Number 5, slots are fully random. Are casinos fair? Nope. Sorry. Get over it. Yes, I've been to casinos that are fair, and none of my strategies worked because I designed them to take advantage of casinos being unfair. That one casino has since been remodeled and isn't fair any longer, thank goodness. Now you can go win there if you know my strategies. These top 5 misunderstandings can get slots enthusiasts in trouble. They are assumptions, and you know what they say about assumptions. Improve your slots performance in 30 days or less with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. You also get 3 free valuable bonuses, including 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership group, where you'll get community support and accountability. Visit professorslots.com/30 days to learn more about the free bonuses, course content, and testimonials from participants. In the next section of the show, I provide a brief overview of the current state of gambling in a U.S. state, territory, or the federal district, emphasizing the gaming industry for slots enthusiasts. Let's go over Kansas's gaming industry for playing slots. Kansas slot machine casino gambling consists of 4 state-owned commercial casinos and 6 tribal casinos. The minimum legal gambling age in Kansas depends upon the gambling activity. For land-based casinos and poker rooms, it's 21. For bingo, the lottery, and pari-mutuel racing, it's 18. The Kansas legislature approved charitable and social gaming in 1974, followed in 1978 by both pari-mutuel racetracks and a state lottery. State licenses for pari-mutuel facilities ended in 2008. In 1995, negotiations led to a tribal state compact for the establishment of 4 tribal casinos. This quickly led to the state licensing 4 commercial casinos. In 2008, the Wyandotte Nation, a federally recognized tribe of Oklahoma, opened a tribal casino in downtown Kansas City after more than a decade of litigation. Next up is a usually short statement about slot machine private ownership, which I have included in case you live in this U.S. state and are considering owning a slot machine. Here it is. In Kansas, it is legal to own a slot machine privately if manufactured before 1950. The Kansas Racing and Gaming Commission regulates commercial gaming with primary responsibilities centered on the 4 state-run commercial casinos in Kansas. The Kansas State Gaming Agency is a separate agency which provides oversight of the tribal state gaming compacts for the 6 tribal casinos in Kansas. Its authority for this enforcement role comes through the Tribal Gaming Oversight Act. Further, each federally recognized American Indian tribe with a negotiated and approved tribal state gaming compact also has a tribal gaming commission. Each commission regulates tribal gaming operations at a single tribal casino. In this section, I discuss Kansas gambling establishments. There are 4 state-owned commercial casinos and 6 tribal casinos in Kansas. The largest casino in Kansas is Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway. The second largest is Kansas Star Casino Hotel Event Center. There are 4 state-owned commercial casinos and 6 tribal casinos in Kansas. As usual, when there are too many casinos to mention here, a complete list along with a casino map are on my webpage for this state at professorslots.com/KS. As an alternative to enjoying Kansas slot machine casino gambling, consider exploring casino options in a nearby state. Bordering Kansas is to the north, Nebraska, to the east, Missouri, to the south, Oklahoma, to the west, Colorado. To visit any of my articles on these U.S. states, simply visit professorslots.com, followed by its 2-letter postal designation. For example, my Nebraska slots article is available at professorslots.com/NE. The minimum theoretical payout limit for commercial casinos is 87%. The KRGC provides monthly revenue reports for the 4 state-owned casinos. However, there is insufficient information to determine player win percentages from these return statistics. Specifically, these reports do not show the amount won by players. The minimum theoretical payout limit for all tribal casinos except 7th Street Casino is 80%. This limit is in the Electronic Gaming Devices Technical Standards associated with each tribal state gaming compact in subsection Software Requirements for Percentage Payouts. In summary, Kansas slot machine casino gambling consists of 4 commercial casinos owned by the state, as well as 6 tribal casinos. I've been experimenting with new, more advanced material in a group coaching program called Slots Labs. It's a process that I've specifically designed to grow your slots play beyond where my 30-day to play slots smarter and win leaves off. I'm only inviting a very short list of people, you, my podcast listener, to go through it and help me test and improve upon it. But due to the structure of the course, I can only take a limited number of participants. A spouse or significant other who also plays slots with you is totally fine to join with you, too. When? You can begin working on the introductory section of the course as soon as you register, but the Slots Labs will officially begin March 20th and end on April 30th. Format. We'll be combining slots strategy training with understanding your casino well in a mastermind format. I'm curious to see how it flows. Each of the 6 course sessions will be an interactive training and discussion around a topic. There are also assignments from me and recommended reading to do each week that will help you take what you learned about growing your gambling performance and implementing it to your slots play. For schedule flexibility and ease of use, we'll interact and report on these assignments throughout the week inside a private online community. Topics. While we'll be covering a lot of ground, I'm curious to hear if it's too much. Here's some of the topics we'll be diving into. 1. The skills you need to succeed at playing slots. 2. Mapping your gameplay to success with a practical strategic model. 3. Steps to create and test your methods so they don't fall flat at your casino. 4. Create a strategic plan for your casino for predictable gambling revenue. 5. Managing finances and systems for long-term growth. 6. A process for planning future growth and fixing current problems at the same time. 7. Steps for scaling your slots wins and revenue with a partner or spouse. 8. Must hit by estimates for progressive jackpots on 3 familiar slot machines. Cost. Eventually, this product will cost several $1,000s, but in exchange for your feedback and ideas as I continue to test this process and material, it's only $997 or 3 easy monthly payments of $359 for the beta test. As part of the reduced cost, I'd also like to request that you would be willing to provide feedback at the end about your experience in this process and the result it generates for your slots play. Register. If you are interested in committing about 5 to 6 hours a week to grow your slots play performance at your favorite casinos, go to professorslots.com/SL to register. The deadline to register is Wednesday, March 1st. If the maximum class size of registrants is not reached by the deadline, I'll be opening this exclusive invitation to many, many others. But I've asked you before them because I love you more. Shh. Don't tell them I told you that. They'll get jealous. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks. I'm excited to hopefully hang out with you for 6 weeks and help you grow a thriving slots performance at not only your local casino, but also at others for more amazing wins than you've ever experienced before. Go register now at professorslots.com/SL. And if you're listening to this in the distant future, go check out professorslots.com/SL future podcast listener. It'll be more expensive in future money if we're still using money, but hopefully it'll still be there. I bet it'll be even more awesome after the feedback I get from the next class with you in it. Next up is the question and answer session for my initial rendition of today's topic from a prior live stream. I'll talk with you again afterward. Enjoy. We will move on to questions. Ask away. And please use the hashtag question so I can figure out which one is for me. Crystal. I live in Vegas and play mostly $5 or higher slots. I want to profit just $100 per day. So if I stop right there, there are 6 states that have return statistics by slot machine denomination, if that makes sense. They post the win percent monthly. And I went through those twice now and tried to find the best returns. And I found that 3 of them, the best return was a lower limit slot denomination, under $5. On 3 of those states. Never the penny machines. Also, 3 of them were one of the high limit denominations. So is it the $5? Is it something else? Is it outside of your price range? Don't be afraid to play lower limit slots. You can still make a $5 bet on so many penny machines. You can make $8 bets, more on penny machines, but then you'd want to avoid penny machines, right? So right now, for the last downtown, I happen to know I checked in February. I checked in April, and February results were out. 5-cent denominations, and there's fewer machines. You have a hard time finding them. There's fewer machines, but they have had the best return out of all denominations for February. Then also in February, they had the average for the last 3 months. It was the best then. And in February, they had the average for the last 12 months. Maybe you've seen my videos where I show all that. And it was the best return for the last year. The hardest part about it is finding the few 5-cent denomination machines. Make maximum bets, and you might even be making a $5 bet. That's just baseline helping you. Yeah. Second part of the question. I change machines frequently, which works about 75% of the time. Any suggestions to help me achieve this? Yeah, I would suggest going for the max, going for the best numbers. Nevada has returns by slot machine denomination. Use it. I have videos on this. Just look up Las Vegas on my channel. You can go to my website and look up Las Vegas visits for people who are visiting Las Vegas. I know you live there, but that's top 7 secrets. Actually, it's 6 secrets now. I have to Vital Vegas podcast. He had a Old Faithful, and they moved it away. So that was one of the secrets I put in there. And I'm like, oh, I got to get back up to 6. 6 is the lucky number. Right now it's only 6. So yeah, 5-cent denomination, up your odds just across the board. And that there's so few, it means, and for so long, it's stable. Yeah. Raven, did you have a question? No. Okay. Raven had some comments about North Carolina tastes being common, that sort of thing. But let's go with questions. I'm glad you did well, Raven. Biff says, have noticed a group of 5 or 6 slots positioned at the main entrance. They are almost always several elderly ladies using these slots. How do you handle crowds? That's a good point. One of the things I point out is the machine in the row of popular machines that everybody wants to play. One of them is a winner. And, as I'll talk about in a podcast a week from now, I had a very interesting conversation last night, and it's coming out next Sunday. And an hour before that, I had another very interesting conversation, which will come out tomorrow. But there is people see. They don't have to know why. They just say, that machine is always winning. Right? I help you find it. I tell you what to look for if you take the course. It's all laid out for you. But if people see somebody winning on it, they get on it. And if none of the other machines are being played, it's the one somebody's playing. So it's just a matter. There are nefarious groups out there, forums out there. I don't care for them, where they teach how to intimidate somebody to get off a slot machine. I don't believe in that at all. That person is not going to be there all day. Work around it. Yeah, that's the problem to solve. You found the machine. Good for you. Now figure out how to get on it. And when you do get on it, you might want to consider having someone, and maybe they're doing this themselves, the people that are on it now. Do you have somebody you can switch off with so you could run it 24 hours a day? You know, so you don't get off of it. I've been on machines like that, and I'm just like, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I got to go to the restroom. How do I stay? Because somebody's going to take this. Oh, what do I do? What do I do? And if you plan ahead and, bring a sandwich, ask for a drink, not alcohol from a slot, but not too much, because you don't want to go to the restroom. It's like somebody was telling me, the machine had to be serviced. And that was so upsetting. And I said, did you bring 20s for your $800? And so you filled it up and you took your voucher out and put it back in and took your voucher out and put it back in. And yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it fills up. So if you're on a winning machine and you want to play for a long time, don't do that. And maybe bring a sandwich or a piece of candy or, not too many liquids. Where's the plan here? And I understand sometimes you follow my advice and you find a winning machine and you're not prepared. And that's why I say have a plan. I'm not prepared to stay. I got to get to the airport, because it's Monday morning and I didn't realize that weekends were going to be terrible, but Monday mornings before my flight would be good. Got to go, but I'm winning. Got to go, but I'm winning. Yeah. That's why I have consultations as well, because sometimes there's specific problems. I haven't had somebody. I have had somebody set up a consultation when they were in Las Vegas. And she held up her laptop and I could see the Bellagio fountains and said, I'm here now. I got a couple of days. What's going on? And so I helped her. Danny. Hi, John. Is it possible to find out what is the exact percentage payout of any casino in Vegas, not based on overall strip or downtown or local, but by name? Thank you. This is a financial analysis. What you need to know to do that is sometimes, okay, let's back up. There is returns for the entire strip, all casinos on the strip, but they also have for bands of revenue. You can figure out which band of revenue your casino that you're interested in, so you can have better statistics than all the strip casinos. And there's a number that's on the return statistics. It's all part of what I've shown before. And that will, just checking things. That will help you determine which category it's in. But no, nobody provides the return by casino. There could be a few casinos that are, one or two casinos that might be in a category. And once you find out from their financial reports to the Security Exchange Commission for their monthly revenue, then you can sort that out. But no, they don't do it. Yeah. Question of your okay. I'm trying to understand. Jana says, what might be best, early morning after this holiday weekend, or go back to the machine I won on last week, but play a little earlier? Play at the same time. Go the morning after the holiday, Tuesday morning. I was going to mention this towards the end of the live stream. Yes, we got a major holiday coming up. If your casino is going to be busy on Monday, and that's a big question you have to answer, it has to be busy. I don't know. Is Memorial Day busy at the casino? Well, it's a day off, but maybe there's family activities. So as with every holiday, you have to see if it's being celebrated at the casino. The Black Friday, oh yeah. New Year's Eve, oh yeah. But otherwise, it's really a casino by casino event. And so, if it's going to be busy, um, uh, Monday night, go Tuesday morning. But if it's not busy, then you don't have what's necessary for my strategy to work. Right? It has to be a busy event. I would do both if possible. There are things where you have a winning strategy at noon on last week on Tuesday, say, and then you go a week later and it's like, oh, it's Tuesday after Memorial Day and I have to be here at 4:00 in the morning anyway, but then I got to come back at noon. It's the struggle. it's the struggle. You can choose, it's a one-time event. What you want to check to see is if they have the strategy on Tuesday morning, and then you if you've done it 2-3 times, to check each time. If they didn't give payouts to others or you, then it's reasonable they don't have it. And it could be a while before the next holiday, right? And I don't even know when the next one would be. Oh, 4th of July, I guess, maybe. So that's on a Tuesday. So I think, you have to go several times. It's easy to find out during like the last 6 weeks of the year, because there's a bunch of major holidays and major events, and it's, boom, 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 and you find out if they have it. Yeah. So have a plan. It sounds like you're getting it together. Yeah. And then find out which one of them produces a better result. But I think you're going. The coming back a week later, playing at the same time, maybe 5 minutes earlier, was what worked for me. That's how I got the most number of jackpots. It was a Caesars property. If that helps you to see, maybe other Caesar properties would have that, but it's also can't be done if you're not going to be someplace a week later. If you're vacationing and then you leave, and so you can't come back. And either way, you've got something that you're looking through. If you're in the course, one of the things upgrades are coming. I'm working on them, and one of the upgrades I want to make is kind of give you a checklist. Does this casino do any of these 10 strategies? And kind of like go through them and one by one, just so you can be thorough. Maybe it'll help. No kitty sightings. That was funny. And lots of comments. That's good. Joseph, I would rather not have your documents from your CPA. I don't want that responsibility. Dave says, what sorts of trends have you noticed with big wins, hand pays, and such going from season to season or even month to month? Notice at my locals that things are drying up a bit. Yeah. There was. I like what you said about monthly, because the next thing I want, I have monthly, but the next thing I want to do is have weekly. So I'm always pushing for this. This is the part of the gambling records. We're just talking about a CPA, but there's also the other side of things where it's like, when I went on this visit, I saw this, this, and this, and this. And when you look at it for the year, you start seeing the trends. One of the trends is January, February, all casinos. Partly it has to do with nobody's going to come in anyway because they spent so much on Christmas. And so it's well-known business fact that less customers spend less money at businesses in January, February. But then there's the spring break and people going on vacation because their kids are out of school in April. Then there's May, June, and those are low. And so, when will it pick up? There's details about July, August, September, uh, not really October. October, there's 3 months in the year where I'm like, want to watch a little closely. I know what it is for me, but I've been trying to, like I said, watch all the details on my Facebook group to see what's going on in this month and this month and this month. And I don't have a lot I only have local situation for July, August, September. But then I clicked in on this last year in Thanksgiving. So November, particularly starting in the middle of the month and through the end of the year, is just all, just guns a-blazing. It's a up time. So, it's basically up and down, up and down, up and down. And summer is traditionally low. But I really like to have this on a national trend each week. One thing you can do, and this is basically what I'm doing, join Professor Slots Enthusiasts, and you can go to, let me put that up, and go to my Facebook groups, join your state, but also join Professor Slots Enthusiast here. And I won't click on it because it's private. And, if you're a member in your family, would have to be a member in order to see your posts, that sort of thing. People like privacy. And if you go there, just see how many posts there are at any given time. It's 18,277 people, and they're posting all the time if they're winning, and they're not posting all the time if they're not winning. And so you can, like I'm doing, you can see how things are going nationally. You're coming upon a plan. And this is, you want to have a plan. Good for you. Oh, yes, Stephanie. Excellent question. Excellent question. How is the world economy affecting slots? They are giving out promotional dollars because it is so expensive to travel. It's if the casino is an hour away. I mean, I want to talk local, right? If the casino is an hour away, how easily would you travel with the gas prices, being such as they are? That's pretty bad. And so the promotional dollars is to try to overcome that barrier. They try to give you a mail flyer, and they give you a scratch off, which says only to be scratched off at the casino. You could win up to $10,000. Have you seen that one? That's a Caesar's property one. and it's just like, well, I wouldn't want to lose out. And I scratched it off anyway. And it was a $5, guaranteed to win, it was $5 free play. And, I would have been a little upset if it had been 10,000. So close. But, so we can see a lot more promotional dollars being spent because they want people to come in. And that's something that you should be seeing. Now, the other thing, there's a couple of events taking place around the world. And one of them is inflation. And what most businesses do when, like, for instance, this is a tremendous effect on YouTube, is with many businesses and dealing with inflation, gas prices, products costing more to, order for their business, all of that. The first thing that is cut as far as expenses is advertising. But casinos are upping advertising. On YouTube, the people who advertise are advertising less because of that. And so those of us who are YouTubers are seeing the dip, and you can certainly see the dip with my accountant and I were talking about it. The company Google, who owns YouTube, is just getting hit so hard on their monthly reports by all this, but that doesn't really affect casinos. Jill says question, and please remember to add a hashtag question so I can see that it is that you have a question and not just talking amongst yourselves, which a lot of you are doing. Question. Sometimes I take $46 to casino with $55 free play. I need more dollars. Well, that's something that's happening. My old coworker from my job before when I was an aerospace engineer a couple of years ago, 2 years anniversary, 3 days ago. 2 years, 3 days, 4 hours. Who's counting? Oh yeah, 4 hours. Anyway, he used to talk about going with his wife to casinos back when they had coins, and each of them taking a roll of quarters. The rising cost of casinos. I don't like it. I don't like that it's costing people to. They're basically turning people away who don't bring enough money because of minimum bets, just going up, 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 up. Now, if you want bonus rounds, you have to pay extra. It's just they're edging out. There's far more people with a small, I don't want to say small bankroll, with $100 bankroll or less. There's far more people than there are people with 2,000, 1,000, even 500. It's just double the number of people with $100 bankroll than there are, 500. And it's like these businesses, I'm like, are you even considering returning away people with $100 or less bankroll because it's not enough to pay to play? It's one of those things that they are working on doing more of. Yeah, I see a comment that I'll respond to, which it wasn't a question. Dave says the 5-cent machines are a lot rarer nowadays, but they are out there. One of the things that we're seeing as far as the balance between different machine denominations is it used to be most penny machines by far. And what's happened is multi-denomination machines. They say how many they have of them on every monthly report we get, and they say, and you look at it in like Nevada and the Strip or something, and it says it's more than penny machines. It used to be the same. It used to be less. I track these things. I don't plot them out, but I check and I'm like, not as many penny machines. Then, about the same as penny machines. Oh, now they exceeded by a significant amount. And so penny machines are going away, but they're getting multi-denomination machines, of which one bet might be a penny. And, it's two different categories. That's two different types. And so, yeah, but the 5-cent ones, so you have to look for it. So you have to ask, where are your 5-cent machines? It's just wonderful to, have that advantage. I wish we had more data. I wish every state had more data. There are states where like Wisconsin was telling me, oh, I wish we had returns. Would you do returns? And I'm like, Wisconsin offers annual returns combined for all tribal casinos. That's pretty useless. And they're like a year behind, so it's just like, I can't make them do that. You can, talk to your congressman, work on becoming the gaming commissioner. What's the plan here? Fun says, what do you recommend if you are playing one machine a while, cycling the bankroll, and another person walks up next to a nearby slot and gets a big win in 5 spins, then moves on? There's more to that. Are both machines highly visible, or was just theirs? Also, when you do the 5 spin method, there's 2 possibilities. If you do this 5 spin method and you win big, there's 2 possibilities. I would pause my 5 spin test of 20 machines and, set it aside and see if that machine wasn't just giving out a taste, but evaluate it to see if it was a winner. It, worth checking. A lot of people will say, well, it just paid out, so it's not going to pay out for a while. It didn't make my top 5, but maybe it's number 6. It's like, what are you talking about? It's not a database driven. It's not a data-based decision that's being made there. It's just a rumor, a myth. I thought about calling these misunderstandings myths. And the reason why we have myths is because it's all anybody uses. I have a pretty intense podcast episode coming up on a week from Sunday. I have one tomorrow, but I also have one a week from tomorrow. I've started a second round of recordings of conversations with slots players who are in my course. If you've taken my course, you'll see an email. If you want to sign up to be interviewed, I gave you the link and the password. Please consider it because people want to hear from you. We're not looking just for people who are like win and win and win. What's the struggle? What's the questions? What have you figured out? And what details, I'll ask you what state you're in and then go. And how did I make a difference? So if you have taken the class and you didn't sign up in the last hour or 2, then you have an email from me from about a week ago, a little bit less, to sign up for an interview. And please do. We want to hear from you. Yeah. Remember to add hashtag sorry, put that away. Hashtag question in order for me to see your question. Someone just noted that more people are watching today, and actually it is not. There are less people. We will see what it's like after the end of the hour. I have some some of the stuff showing. Wow, what happened there? Went from 107 to 56. I must have said a word. It's interesting to look this over, but I'll do that afterwards. So hashtag question. Did I miss Michelle? I want to make sure I didn't skip anything. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Michelle, are there any specific tips for tribal casinos? For example, in Oklahoma where I live, if look around, see if you have class 3 machines and see if you have class 2 machines. I can't find that information on their website, what proportion. Oklahoma is the only state where they kind of go half and half, but that's only for the state. It's 45% class 2 machines, 55% class 3 machines. The last time they provided data about 3 years ago, but it's not that at each casino, it's the state average. So some casinos have no class 2, some casinos only have class 2. What are you working with? And because your plan is going to depend on whether it's class 2 or class 3. Class 3, all my strategies work. Class 2, I'm working on it. I would love to travel, but travel is hard right now, and go to Wisconsin, who has some tribal casinos with class 2 games. Ho Chunk, Madison, that's closest to me. Well, there's a Indiana Tribal Casino 1 up near the Michigan border. That's only 300 miles, only a 6-hour drive. No, it's a 4-hour drive, because I don't have an expressway directly there. Then there's Alabama, and then there's Oklahoma. So I would love to go to each of those and put the plan together. But travel right now is bad. You're lucky, you have them like right there. So do I have any specific tips for tribal casinos? Yeah, know what you're playing. The class 3 machines, there's a lot that you could try, but I've had people come back and comment saying, the 5-spin method doesn't work at Oklahoma casinos. I'm like, did you play class 3 machines, or is your casino like 75% class 2? Oh, yeah, no, it was the bingo machines I was trying it on. Well, there you go. These strategies have been designed to work with class 3. I have more strategies that have to do with online gaming. I have planning to put together what works for Oklahoma. I already have made one that works on scratch tickets that are used virtually in the state of Washington for their class 3 machines. I am filling things out. I've talked enough about HHR, historic horse racing machines, and which are becoming so prevalent, but quietly. But they're just going everywhere. And so, yeah, there are more things that I have to offer for class 3, and knowing the difference is like key. That's the tip. Right. Thank you, Magpie. I will put this in the video so people can see it, where Magpie 11 has indeed canvassed downtown for nickel slots. And she knows as well as I do that the odds are better for them. So found several at Golden Nugget and Four Queens. Magpie 11 says they are old-time reels with 5-cent or 10-cent bet option. So, if you've got if you got a bankroll of $55, there you go. There you go. As good as it gets. Tint to black. Some California casinos give away some cheap, worthless junk, not even worth the tank of gas it costs just to get there. I think I mentioned before, I got this wonderful electric bread maker. And then another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And I was like, how many top end, Hamilton Beach bread makers do I need? Well, none. I kind of like kneading the dough by hand. So if it's worthless junk, that's bad, because that's a dissatisfied customer, and the casinos are hurt by dissatisfied customers for whatever cause for the dissatisfaction. And so that's bad news for them. It's like going into the bathroom, the restroom, and it's messy. Or, that's what you do to see if a restaurant's good, because if it's messy in the restroom, is it messy in the kitchen? And you're going to be eating food, right? So it's either pride in their job or not pride in their job, and all that matters. Yeah. Okay. Let me make sure I have some question. Yeah, we're at 138 concurrent viewers, 137, 66 likes, and 90, and then 114 views overall. I might be able to say just a bit more of the statistics, and that's nice. I know it's Memorial Day weekend, and I thought about canceling, but then some people don't have anything to do on the weekend. I certainly already know that I need to make a podcast on big weekends, right? Because people are driving, and it's, you download it, and then you're at the hotel or family, and you're driving home for 6 hours, and I make an hour long podcast, and that takes up part of the trip, and you can listen and, to the interviews and the things I talk about on them. And so I've known for a long time, make a podcast on a holiday weekend, but live streams are kind of like, so please, as Magpie 11 says, please smash the like button. Much appreciated. Makes much more of a difference than you might think. Right there's a button. Right there's a button. Like. Chuck asks about playing Keno machines. Keno machines, video Keno, which is different from the table game. Video Keno, if you're in Nevada, then it's the same as the table game. And so, that's not a slot machine. But outside of Nevada, it can be. In Nevada, Keno is documented to have the worst odds. You can go look. A part of the return statistics that I was talking about in Nevada will also show a section above the table of the slots. There's a section above, which is table games, and the section at the bottom for sports betting. And and they go by game because slots are by denomination. Well, in the table games, they go by game. And have you considered learning Baccarat? Because the odds are wonderful for that, but Keno is particularly bad. Yeah. Julie says, let me tell you about the high limit room bathrooms in Tampa Hard Rock. I have a feeling you're not going to say something nice about it, so I'm going to move on. Please don't share. Okay. John says, if a person plays in several casinos owned by the same company, do you think the strategies they use are the same? I think it has to do with who owned. From what I've been doing with so many casinos changing their name, getting new owners, new operators, the investors choosing a different operator, I have found that whoever started the casino in the first place, who turned a cornfield into this resort, right? That's what the strategy was set by. They don't seem to see what's needed to change what strategy is used, what operating system they're using that my strategies take advantage of, is they have to turn everything off. And they're not going to do that because the one day shutdown is fireable. So what do? They use what they have and keep going. So if MGM just purchased Cosmopolitan, would they have the MGM strategy? They're what I found with Caesars, which was Horseshoe Cincinnati, changing the Jack, changing now to Hard Rock. I went to Hard Rock and recently, and it had location. Was it coincidence, or was it that Horseshoe had location, and I won 90 hand pays in 9 months? I think it has to do with who started, who built, who constructed the casino. Yeah. Some of these comments are awesome. Yes, there is a a lot going on with YouTube where they're trying to offer different things. Like, for instance, some of this could be, well, I'm trying to keep an eye on the latest and greatest things to do in YouTube. And Biff was talking about restreaming and other things of that sort. This is being simulcast to, I think it's being restreamed actively. It's going to my profile on Facebook, not my community, not my group, but on my profile. And so people are commenting from there and watching from there. They're not in the live chat. They're in my chat window of the software that I use to connect to YouTube, which I'm also connecting to Facebook. So yeah, I try to do stuff. If you're on, if you're on Facebook, I got one like there. Hello, one person. and yeah, so there are things to watch out for. I'm as I try to tell people sometimes, pardon me, I graduated from high school not having seen a computer. And I saw a terminal which connected by phone line, basically the fax system that we all know about, and it connected to a computer that took up a room, and then that's what I saw, and yes, and so I've learned. And here I am on YouTube, simulcasting to Facebook, and I'm becoming an influencer in educational slots. Yeah. It's a very interesting conversation I had last night with Brian that is coming out a week from tomorrow on my podcast. I hope you have a chance to listen to it. It is pretty good conversation. This is my second round of interviews and conversations. And if you are a member, if you paid for my course, I only sent it to you guys to ask if, talk about before and after meeting me and what's going on. You have the link and you have the password and please sign up. But I always find it completely fascinating. But he had a few things to say that I don't want to give it away. I thought about making a little video of one section of it and adding it here, but one thing at a time. So the next question asks me about any luck at getting to film at Jack in Cleveland. Jack in Cleveland is a mighty long distance away. I'm down near Dayton in Southwest Ohio. I think my focus will be on Belterra Park because, as one of you informed me here, they have accepted somebody, and there's proof, and that seems, because of its being closer to me and because that had happened, because I learned a lot of my strategies there, that's going to be my go-to approach. But I can, the point is it's a new thing that I'd like to start doing. It won't take over this. It will add something to what I'm doing now. And I'll keep working on it. KA, I know it's a bold move. Can you make a living of gambling? And if so, tables or slots? If you look at the return statistics, this is such a general question. If you look at the return statistics, the odds are better, far better, like single digit versus, I should say, it's in the 90% of what the odds are on average with every drunk person or whatever betting on slots versus 70%. No kidding, 70%, 75%, maybe as high as 80%. Learn baccarat and you can, get up to, 85% or so. It's the odds are so much better. And if you are an expert at slots, you can do better. As with poker, if you are the person who's always winning because you know how, or you do blackjack and you have a winning method that isn't, that you stay under the radar. Right now, they have so much surveillance and so many infinite decks that you sort of have to win and not be escorted out. You sort of have to win a small amount. And so that can be limiting to winning what you need to make a living. You have to understand the space, and honestly, a lot of people don't want to do that. And I would say get a job at a convenience store. You get health insurance. It's pays the way. Yeah. It can be a bold move, but will it be successful? One of the things, just think about it, right? The practical side. What would you have done when all the casinos closed 2 years ago? You have no casino to go to. Call that a layoff, maybe. How stable is the U.S. gaming industry? How stable are things in your state? This is what you think about when you start thinking career. You look around and you say, well, if that one casino closed, then I'd have to move. And maybe the best return is to constantly move every 6 months to the newly opened casino, because you know how to win in a newly opened casino. But then that's, traveling like a nomad and doing that sort of thing. And do you know how to do that? So, yeah, I take your question very seriously. And what do you need to do to make a living? Not that I've even asked you how much is making a living for you. For me, my cost of living is kind of up there. I have a mortgage. I have 8 college degrees. Don't be, let me just reduce your happiness at 8 college degrees and say, I have student loans to go with them. So for quite a long time yet to come. All right. If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it and the details of what you're trying to do. Steve says, I saw a video on Twitter that, that showed a 40-mile traffic jam on I-15 heading towards Vegas on Thursday. I am flying there on Monday. Would Strategy 5 be in effect on Tuesday from 4 to 6 a.m.? If the casino has it. Yeah. That's one of the things that some of us have talked about. Some of us live next to a casino like Hard Rock Tampa, Yamava in California, WinStar in Oklahoma, where it doesn't matter if it's a holiday or a special event. Every night is crowded. So every morning works. Easy decision. Yeah. Good luck finding a machine, even at 4 o'clock in the morning. And the odds of that you winning with so many other people playing, when you go to a casino where there's not as many people at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's more likely to be you. Yeah. And question. Good. Can you explain what these different types of slots are? Well, yes, but it's really a matter of, do you even need to know? I bring them up in the online course because, and I talk about them. Each of my state by state Facebook groups actually has an article on my website that talks about that state. All right, professorslots.com/AL for Alabama, and your two-letter postal designation. So if I were to show you that, and My dog is going to bark. The Amazon man just dropped off 2 books on what customers crave and what customers hate. The audiobook was so good that I got this. So what am I doing here? This is online resource. So if you go to professorslots.com/online resource, you'll see a list. And if you want it, what state are you in? Can you tell me? Are you still there? Tell me what state you're in and I'll bring it up. Let's say it's Nebraska. Well, okay, I'll watch for it, but let's say Tennessee. I've been getting questions about Tennessee lately. So many slot machines, despite the fact that there are none. Slot machine gambling does not exist. No land-based casinos, no commercial casinos, no tribal casinos, no slot machines available. But all the Texacos have 5 machines, and they're played 24 hours a day constantly. So, what does that mean? There's check the Tennessee Constitution, and it says no games of chance. But apparently somebody found it out with maybe sweepstakes games or skill-based games that didn't have to do with tribal casinos. So, this is where you go to find out what's up with your state, including whether there's any payout return statistics or theoretical payout limits or return statistics. So, whatever state you're in, go there. So if you go to Professor Slots and 30 days, and by the way, Fun, thank you so much for your testimonial. Hasn't made it to the website yet, but thank you. And so if you go here, it's a long description, testimonials, detailed, what's what, where you'll find it, what things are covered, what sections names are, and all of the different features, this full description, and then some of the bonuses that you get for free, and what their value is normally, and all of that. So green buttons are where you go. It's currently $97. Eventually I'll make that up probably when I go with an upgrade. I want to start, do that at least once a year, sometimes twice a year. And there's a few things that needs to be put in. So, like for instance, the pointing out that now I have a Washington method, state of Washington method, and Oklahoma work on that. So there's adding more bonuses all the time. Right. And and so if I were to click on that, you would go to a much shorter description where you actually buy the course, and that's where you would find that. Just because you asked, I'm not doing as many advertisements now to interrupt the show, but when we get more questions, I'll come back to that. So you'll learn these things. There's a course curriculum. I'm going to close that, but these are the sections, and then if you open them up, you can see what all is involved in each of these sections. So that's what that looks like. And then, of course, there's the free stuff down here that you get with the course. Right. So the different kinds of slots, there's really only class 2 and class 3. The tribal casinos can automatically have class 2 bingo style machines. They can also, it's a skill-based game, and most choose bingo, but it can also be pull tabs. Alaska likes to do pull tabs as a skill-based game, and that's a kind of tribal casino. Then we also have class 3, which is normally called Vegas, but actually class 3, class 1 is tribal ceremonies. Class 2 is competition-based games, including electronic games. Class 3 is everything else. And that's the federal law. It says everything else. That's what it is. So right now it's Vegas style slots. But then we also have these HHR games that are becoming very popular, historic horse racing, where you can use races from the last 100 years because it's all been documented in Europe, wherever, as long as they had the same pari-mutuel rules, win, play, show, that sort of thing. And that's used as a database again and again. If you make a bet on a HHR machine, it's the result of all the different symbols on maybe a video device. All of those are a horse in a horse race, and that one bet could be the results of 30 races. And if you go to the game rules, you can look into it. And then we have these sort of gray area stuff. Like Florida is full of these. Well, it's not illegal if they don't arrest me. Sort of arcades, and it's just like, wow. And I got a call from a gentleman the other day who said, "Well, I was able to do it for 3 years, but then they shut me down." And it's kind of, I'm good until they close me. And one of the things that can be done is, the police don't check, or law enforcement for the Gaming Commission, whichever, don't check. But you can also, it can be civil forfeiture, where they take the machine but don't penalize or don't, charge the owner of the business. And since you made enough in the 3 days before they took the machines away to buy more and have a healthy profit, you pull 3 more machines from your storage and order 3 more because in 3 days they're going to come take it away. But you're working it, and it's just an amazing sort of situation. It's all very gray area. It's all very much what's going on, and we don't really know. You have to sort of be there, and nothing about those machines protects you. There are no player safety, no consequences, no if something broke, whatever, you're not protected with a gaming commission on many of those machines. Now, Illinois bars and taverns, that's protected because it's connected to the state lottery, blah, blah, blah. So that's why every state is a little bit different. And that's why I talk that way about it. It's interesting. Look into your own state, find out what's going on. Pint to black. I hope I didn't miss any questions. Sometimes I lose track where I am. Yeah, that's the next one with the hashtag. Our country's current administration has made the economy so unstable. I was asked this question 2 years ago. I was asked this question 2 years ago when all the casinos closed. And what will happen? And I said, gambling is a fundamental need. If you're, it's like alcohol, right? If you have to make a decision between alcohol and food, plenty of people will make the decision to have alcohol. It is a fundamental need. We find a way. We had American Prohibition once in this country. It's also known as the golden age of slots. They were making them gum. You win because it was a gum machine, a slot machine that you would win gum and not money. And then American Prohibition came in I think it ended in 1932, but it was something like in the 20s. And my goodness, they just said, okay, we're, making money, and go to the bartender and, get your winnings and forget this gum situation. And it just blew up, not only blew up, but went global. And so when Prohibition ended, it was, so what I'm trying to say here is, if anything like that happens, it's going to be the best day ever for slots players. It's happened before. Yeah. And I'm looking for a question. Sugar Moon Garden. Question. So PS wants your opinion on if they are PS. Is that me, Professor Slots? Want your opinion on if they were going to agree to us to Texans having casinos. There is it's almost a border war. I made a video about this and it didn't get a lot of views, but I see this in all these different states. Writing these articles, I would know what was going on in the next state over, and not just in the state. Once I went through all of these like 4 times. And so it's amazing what the money from Oklahoma casinos, tribal casinos, is being spent to lobby the legislatures in Texas. And what direction is that going? They don't want, it would take business away from Oklahoma's casinos. I mean, duh, it's simple. But on the other hand, Texas legislators are like, if we could make the coast, which is oil production, into a tourist, we're talking billions and billions of making it a tourism destination. And the Oklahoma legislators, or the Oklahoma casinos, talking to those Texas legislators are like, no, don't think that. Don't, oh no. And the Texas legislators are like, I don't think you're my best friend on this anymore. And so, what's it going to take? It's going to need to have a positive result for Texans, and the positive results, because politics are politics, for Texas legislators. And then it will happen. It couldn't happen fast enough. And right now, it is, what I understood was there were several proposals that didn't make it to a vote, and where the bill was prevented from getting out to the voters. Because it usually means it's going to be get to the voters, and it's just like, yes. And so they don't want it to get that far. Yeah, something to keep an eye on. Yeah. Arizona, I recently heard, renegotiated their tribal compacts to better compete with Nevada. And that's wonderful. But on the other hand, why didn't they do that earlier, and what was preventing them, and all these other questions that I have about it. Riverboat casinos that are on the same river but on different sides of the river, and different sides of the river are different states, and it's just make the gaming regulation so it's a struggle to get anything. It's pretty awesome, some of those things. Next question. Well, everybody can be hurt in it. Everybody can be hurt in the slowdown. I know I'm being hurt as a slots channel. Question: playing machines in Oklahoma. I see VGT on some machines. Can you tell me the difference in Type 2 machine and the Type 3 machine? Are they better off to play the 3-wheel type machines? Okay, so I have more options available for Type 3 games. VGT is a manufacturer of Type 2 games. 3-wheel type machines can be anything. So don't go by that. A lot of people think that one of the we'll call it top 7, or the number 7. People think that the old machines that have been there for a while have physical reels, and that they're old, and they are not. They may have been there for a little while, but the insides have all been basically scraped out, not the reels, and the electronics that control what's going to happen in those machines is the same as electronics in most recent video games. Now, the latest video games have the additional electronics of being able to run that big screen, and the physical reel machines have the mechanics of motors to turn the reels, but the part that determines what the odds are identical. Casinos don't have 2 systems. They have 1 system. and they scrape out. I mean, I'm trying to be like physical about this. They scrape out everything and replace it, everything that's not helpful to run the machine, and they make them all identical to everything. Yeah. Question. Yes. Julie. So any riverboat casino that goes into international waters, since says Victor. Okay, so riverboat casinos used to undock, but that's just because they lifted the drawbridge, and they got rid of that a long time ago, only a few years after they came in. So no riverboat casino is heading out to the ocean. It's a barge, and barges don't do quite so well on the ocean. But so there are riverboat casinos. There are day trip casinos. Victory Cruise, Canadian Cruises in Cocoa Beach is one of them. Don't really have a gaming commission to go by. That is right. Not regulated. Right. Absolutely. They have those kind of. There's another one that I forget where it came from, but it's currently in Texas, where if you go to international waters 3 miles out, you can. It's outside of the gaming jurisdiction. It's in international waters, and they can do whatever. But like I said, they're all businesses. And so if you do badly, if they choose to do badly, then they have a terrible Yelp rating. And that's to be avoided if they want to have a good business. But yeah, what I don't like is there's no protections. If they can make you feel bad about what you did to lose, because it's all your fault, that you continued to play and you lost it all, that will just, not our fault. And they'll lean heavily on that. And that bothers me when that happens. So no regulations of any sort. And there is one thing that happens is you still have to pay taxes. And I haven't won a hand pay. Sometimes you just have to do it, right? I haven't won a hand pay on a cruise. I haven't been on. I thought about going on some day trips, but I don't know quite what happens when you're on a cruise, day or 7-day or 3-day, when you get a hand pay. Because my understanding is you do get a W-2G. And it's associated with the state, which I believe is the port where that cruise ship left from, the state. So I think you're cruising Alaska, or you're cruising from Seattle up the coast past Vancouver, and you're in international waters. I believe it's associated with the state that it's docked from, because, the IRS isn't going to let there be a loophole where you don't have to pay taxes. And it might also just fall under international income. Yeah. Hey, Bodie Ball. It's a comment, not a question. I completed your course 4 days ago and hit my first ever hand pay, $100 in and $4,079 out. Doing my homework really makes a difference. Some of the videos on the topics, I talk about all this freely, but the course has no commercials, for one thing, and also homework. You may not be a big fan of homework, but listen to Bodie Ball 72. It really makes a difference. Go to the casino, look at this. I won't tell you what all the homework is, but you have tasks in the course, and they're meant to help you. And there's an example. Victory Casino by me does leave and go. Yes. It's just not a riverboat casino, because those are barges, and they used to, they're on, the water they're on is like 2 inches of water and then mud, and that's how it is for them. So it's just I don't mean to be particular about the term. But yes, these are day cruises. Yeah. Hashtag question. I see a question without a hashtag. I'll go with it. Question, sir. So could you explain what a type 3 machine is? It's a slot machine. Actually, it's the only machine that is called a slot machine. HHR machines are called HHR machines. Bingo machines are called bingo machines. And then class 3 is called a slot machine. Now, yeah, we all use slot machine for anything we can make a bet on. and I understand that, but it's kind of a technical thing. So class 3 is everything that isn't class 2 and class 1. Class 1 being tribal ceremonies, class 2 being competition style machines, which is often bingo, but it can also be pull tabs. In fact, Indiana considers poker to be a skill-based game, and so they're able to have it at their tribal casinos because they can't have class 3 machines. But so they kind of worked it out with the legislature saying, but it is, we play poker. And Nebraska's like that too, where they were just like, you cannot gamble in Nebraska. Or you can play poker because that's not gambling. What? State laws can be very different, and it's perfectly fine. So a type 3 machine is what you would normally, most people think of as a slot machine. If you happen to be in Alabama, parts of Arkansas, Oklahoma, a little bit of Wisconsin tribal casinos, it's basically a tribal casino thing that they might have. Most of them, except for Oklahoma, most of them choose not to have the bingo style machines because their customers get confused and they don't like it. But if you've made the effort for people to be used to bingo machines like Oklahoma has, and Oklahoma has its own reasons to have class 2 machines, because class 3 machines, there's an extra fee they have to pay to the state. And so they make less money on class 3 machines. And so they made the effort to train everybody to enjoy, bingo machines, because the fees from the state aren't that high. It's like I said, it's amazing. Leanne, are West Virginia slots Vegas style or lottery based? Let's go take a look. Let's see where we're at. Tennessee, right. So if I back up on this, go to online. Let me pull. I remember a lot of these, but I want to make sure I get it right, and check my sources. Don't want to get West Virginia mixed up with Virginia and West Virginia. There we are. Five casinos, including one casino resort and 4 racetracks with slot machines. Many retailers have a few video lottery terminals. So the answer to your question is yes, all that. But the casinos have slot machines, not connected to the lottery, the state lottery, and the retailers, bars and taverns, that sort of thing, are related to the and bars and taverns. They can have up to 5 video lottery terminals. Also, fraternal organizations can have up to 10, and the entire state is restricted to 9,000 of them. And I have a section, always have a section towards the bottom about theoretical payouts. And so there are 2 racetracks and casino resorts are between 80% and 99.9% on the theoretical payout. And commercial casinos, commercial retailers are between 80%, which is the same, but the upper is 92%, unless they get approval from the lottery to make it 95%. So that's, play at a casino. It's just better. But then the casinos keep it pretty low. So it's not like they won't let you win. They're just making it kind of far away from making a profit. Yeah. 1,303 retailers have have these video lottery terminals. Anyway, that's what I wrote. Might be more though, depending. Sometimes retailers actually reduce during difficult times. What are your favorite casinos in Vegas? Are there any class? Oh, they're all class threes. Yeah, there is a tribal casino in actually two in Laughlin. One is a travel center, so-called Gasino, and then Moapa is, I think that is, and then there's another one, but that's all in Laughlin. And the rules in Nevada, I don't think they allow tribal casinos to have bingo, but I'm not sure quite. It's so hard to find out online what they have. You have to kind of like walk in. But the Strip downtown, Wendover, there are no tribal casinos anywhere there. And and typically you find class two, almost entirely find class two at tribal casinos, and then not often then, because if they can have class three, they tend to get class three slot machines. Yeah. So what's my favorite? I enjoy going to Vegas and not gambling. See the shows, have a good meal, take my sister, and she just has fun. I've gone and spent $500 in 8 different casinos on the Strip in the high limit room. And then Mandalay Bay was where I saw people winning, and even asked the floor manager at this little post there in the high limit room. And I said, how many hand pages have you seen today? Oh, about 12. Oh, look, there's another one. And he pointed, and I'm like, I should have come here first. I only had $500 left in my budget at that point, and I enjoyed the time I played on those machines, but I would have preferred to, $500 is not much for high limit slots. And I didn't really have a plan. I was just seeing what it would do. One of these places, I did meet a gentleman who had met Frank Sinatra, and it was very old slot attendant, and I'm just like, keep the machines dusted. I don't see anybody here. But it was all interesting conversations nevertheless. Mandalay Bay. Yeah, that's probably my favorite. But then you might be asking, which ones have you won the most on? And, there's a lot that goes into that question. Ask Magpie 11. Check her comments. She's put a lot of work into what's going on there. Linda, discuss video poker machines. In which games are most lucrative? Thanks. I don't talk about video poker. I'm a slots man. Yeah. There is a book by an author named Bob Dancer. Find out. If you are in Nevada, then that's the rules. It's completely different from slot machines. If you're not in Nevada, then remember that you still have to do what you need to do to win at video poker by having optimal play, if you know what that is. And each game has its own optimal play. And but you also have, outside of Nevada, you have to remember that it's also a slot machine. So play the machine at the end of the row. Yeah. My apologies. I don't do Keno either. I know of it, but one of the things, and I don't do online slots either, but it is partly because my state doesn't offer it, doesn't allow me. But maybe sometime when it kind of calms down a little bit, I'll go up to that. But you don't succeed at YouTube unless you're focused. Niched. If we are going into a bad economic period with lots of people losing their job, do you think it is in order to compete and stay open, will casinos increase the payout substantially? I don't think they care. They don't care if it's a poor economic turnout. They already have a plan. They have a robust plan. They go up, they go down, they go up, they go down, they go up, they go down, and they're pulling people in. What they might do is increase by a smidgen their promotional dollars, so more, mail flyers go out. It's a recipe for making money, and it's like drinking. During bad economic times and good economic times, during bad economic times, to quote some report that I was seeing back when there was before, you drink because you're making money, and you drink because you're losing money, and you drink. It's just, do you think casinos, to compete and stay open, will casinos increase their payout substantially? They have a plan to do it in a few months, and they had that plan in other years where it wasn't this sort of situation. They know how long they can wait before they need to make a change. What was really interesting, we learned a lot 2 years ago when everything closed abruptly. They had to close things down like that. The day they learned it, that's how it was in Ohio. Order just came down, we're closed. What? That's basically what happened. And now they're like, we hadn't really planned for that because that's a little unusual. And so, they know what they're going to do under these circumstances. They didn't know what they're going to do after everything shut down, but now they even got that covered. So they will probably just stick with a schedule. Yeah, that's what happens with businesses. You do what works, and you hold on tight. Question: does Texas's 2 casinos have Class 2 machines only? Yeah, they only have Class 3. Class 2. They only have Class 2 machines because they're not allowed to have Class 3 casinos. They don't have a compact which allows them to have Class 3 slot machines. If you check with Texas Tootsie, her name's Jan. She's in the live chat, or she was earlier. I'm not sure if she's still here. And there's other people here that go to those casinos in Ascala. Or you can join my Facebook group for Texas, and people are talking about what's going on there. That's the resources I have for you. So Tim has a question about how do I spot a Class 2 machine and how do I spot a Class 3 machine. Usually the Class 2 bingo machines have, it can have the company logo, VGT. However, that's going away. VGT was purchased by a company that makes both Class 2 and Class 3 machines, Aristocrat. And so eventually, the label will change as those machines are placed out. So you'll start losing that sign. But really, there's either in the top right corner or the top right corner or the bottom lower corner is going to be this little bingo card. And little yellow lights, and that's how you can tell it's a bingo card, bingo machine, Class 2. Yeah. Yeah, I took my sister, and Julie, my sister just she got margaritas, and she had her cup, big old cup that she could get free refills from, and she brought it from her last trip. Yes. Let's see. And do we have any more questions? I don't think I missed any. Yeah. Let me put away the margaritas. Awesome. So I'll give you a second. If you have more questions, please, ask. Fun has questions. Can watching videos of slots play undermine the method you teach? If you know what's going on, if it's a live stream, then it can't be cut out what's happening. if it is a live stream. There's a gentleman, I won't name by name because I don't want to give him business, who takes $10,000 in $100 bills, and he starts recording. I just walked up to this machine. I put a $100 bill into it, and look, I just won. And then he doesn't use the ones where he doesn't win. He does it, starts it off. Watch me put this into this machine I just walked up to. And 2 of the times out of those 100 times of putting a $100 bill in, he won something and did not win at 99 times. And so he uses those 2 videos to, and that sort of thing is, pretty objectionable. But, if you are watching that and think it's real, or you're watching any video that's not a live stream and think it's real, you can learn something about how the game is played. I don't think it really matters. There's some advantage play stuff that's kind of out there that if you're interested in it. But I have had my audience of people taking my course come back to me and say, I just yell at them. I sit and I watch and I'm like, no, don't do that. Do this. And, the individual that I interviewed last night for a week from tomorrow had a lot to say, a lot of negative things to say about these entertainment slots channels. He said none of them know what they're doing. It's not their, and I tried to say it's not their business plan to teach anybody. Right? It's not easy to build a plan to teach people. It takes 6 months for a university professor to put together a course, to present that. And that's why it took that long for me to put it together. So one for you. And hey, don't do that. I think Amazon truck's here. And he's got a big boy voice now. But I'm petting him. And so, I find that one of the things that is helpful is if you still want to be involved with slots, but it's a bad time to play at your casino, you can watch these entertainment channels just to sort of get your fix. I would be more concerned if they said, do this to win, and because they don't know, but they don't say, and so that's better because they're not trying to convince you to do something. What you're going to find, I know you're taking the course now, and what you're going to find when you watch them, you'll be like, no, don't. I just completely missed what just happened. It's unfortunate. Danny says, in your opinion, in Vegas, is it better to go at night, afternoon, early morning? Vegas is unique cause of the amount of daily visitors. Yes. The night is different from the afternoon, is different from the early morning. They are different. And so I have had live streams talking about how do you assess what's happening now, what's going on now. Yeah. I'm sorry. Pony Player is like refillable margaritas. Where? It's a little mall with the M&Ms, and there was a vendor out at the entrance to that mall, up by Mandalay Bay, and she was just like, I brought my cup, and so that's what you got from this. Okay. The times are different. I've had a live stream about using the 5-spin method, even though all the casinos on the Las Vegas Strip have the 5-spin method. They have tastes. It's a second part that's useful. First, you decide if it's got tastes. Then the second thing you do is it paying out? And you can make minimum bets with the 5-spin method and evaluate the casino. Well, not right now. Try it again in the afternoon. Try it again in the early morning. Try it again at night. And you'll see that it's substantially different at one of those times. And I wish I could tell you which one it would be. We're seeing it kind of like all over the map. You go, you check. But people are like, it doesn't matter. tip number 5, I was top 5, the fifth misunderstanding that I was talking about at the beginning of the show is like, well, no, it's all fair. Sorry. Don't mean to shock you. Chuck says, barbecue brisket will be ready in a few hours. Save you a seat. Oh man, I am on the road. Leftovers. Wow. Thank you, Chuck. Now I'm hungry. Wow. That's awesome. um, yeah, Magpie makes a good point about the live streams. The live streams can be educational. It's kind of like talking to a casino employee. You listen to the facts of what they say, not the opinions of what they say. So they say, that machine had a win on that day of the week at this time. But what you do is you go do this, and you have your troll and you pet it. And so the first part's good. The second part's not. You listen for the facts. So if you see a win on a live stream, you may be able to determine what time that was, right? Where that casino was, which machine it was. You can identify the ID on the machine. They might say what casino it's in, and the live stream is live. So you have the time. And so go there a week later. Or you can do what Magpie 11 did, which was audacious. She went 10 minutes before Brian Christopher was there to show up. And before they kind of on his machine, and she won 2 hand pays, and then she got out of there and he jumped on it, and it was just like that was awesome. So you can come back a week later, but then you can preempt too. So yeah, this is all people applying these methods and taking them further in states that I have only ever visited. Yeah. Is there a certain number of spins you use to move on from different types of machines? I have found 5 spins to not by certain types of machines. If you're in Oklahoma, you have 2 types, but most every place else you have what you have, and it's usually one of them. So, it's a very general question that you're asking in that part of it. And normally it's not that general. You know what you have. And so you do what you need to do for those machines and figure it out. But the certain number of spins on the 5 spin method, it is true that I chose 5 spins because it seemed like the best way to control loss limits. To have only 5 spins, but I know that other people are like 8 spins, 10 spins. Was it Doug? He was here in the first part of the show. He used to say, I use 100 spin method. that was the funniest thing I'd ever heard. But maybe 10 works better for you. In fact, in casinos, that the 5 spin method is like just solid. You don't get to 5 spins. You stop when you win. And so there have been casinos I've gone to, and it wasn't the 5 spin method. It would have been if I didn't win, but I was always winning on number 1 and number 2. Yeah. But if you're not winning and you go right to 5 and then you move on, well, maybe you can adapt it. Maybe you can try to see if you go to 10 spins, whether that's best for your casino. Yeah. Good question. Stephanie, I don't understand your question. If you're talking about the Wizard of Oz or Wizard of Odds, please understand that the Wizard of Odds has retired. He sold his business to 5 guys, and they're doing some interesting stuff. I would recommend reading their terms and conditions before signing up to their email list, because it's a little appalling. So I think you're saying turning the machines up and down is true. The time of day matters. What time of day matters for turning the odds up or turning it down is something you have to figure out. But there's so many people who are like, well, it's just constant all day long. It's like, flipping a coin. It's random. And I'm like, no. I'm just not getting it yet. The bingo square machines are type 2. Yeah. Type 3? Well, if depending on where you are, you might not have any to see. Type 3 don't have the bingo screens. Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, there's a two-step process. So Danny says, please clarify, you said all strip casinos in Vegas have the 5-spin method. Yes. Now, there's two things about the 5-spin method. First is, do they give out tastes? And they do. But the second step is, do you make a profit? And some times of the day are better than other times of the day. And I wish I could tell you which times of the day were better, but that's all up to the casinos. They turn it up and they turn it down, and they turn it up and they turn it down, and they are on some sort of schedule. And maybe you want to check on the hour, because they seem to be human beings that like to make the change on the top of the hour, or on the half hour exactly. And that's just, it's easy to spot. And so, yeah, all casinos have it. But you want to find the best ones that make a return. There's Paris has been a little better for the returns being higher. But yeah, they have control over, they can't turn it off. It's, requires, turning all the slot machines off and replacing the central server, the software, the algorithm, and nobody wants to do that. But it's easy enough to set the schedule so that, 5 days in advance, they know what they're going to be doing. Yeah. It's only 1 in 4 casinos elsewhere. It's very competitive in Las Vegas. They either decided that, this is how they want to win, like turning the odds down when Californian comes to visit. I mean, it's so obvious that they would be able to figure that out independently from one another. But on the other hand, they also kind of like chat with one another a little bit, the executives. And so and they can send somebody to go, somebody from McDonald's went to Wendy's and watched the drive-through or got a burger, and they're like, they had some good stuff that we wanted to, maybe incorporate. Is it espionage, or is it just knowing your competitor? Wow. I didn't get to all the questions. Well, actually, I have like one more from fun. Have you used, or do you recommend Googling the casino name followed by the word busy to show? Well, there's what is it? I'm trying to remember the name of the app. It's No Wait or something like that. And see what the wait time is at the restaurant. And that's, I think it's called No Wait. I'll see if I can find it quickly. And may have not have it on my machine. I cleaned a bunch of them off lately, and I think it was called No Wait. And so, yeah, if you go to one more page here, and my memory is that it was called No Wait, and then check the restaurant and see what the wait time is. That's that. Yeah, way to be a modern, app going person. Excellent. So I don't see any more questions. And I will, so that's it. What a great live stream. I'll see you in my next live stream on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Improve your slots performance in 30 days or less with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. You also get 3 free valuable bonuses, including 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership group, where you get community support and accountability. Visit ProfessorSlots.com/30 days to learn more about the free bonuses, course content, and testimonials from participants. Oh, and did I mention that you get 30 days to play Slots Smarter and Win free if you sign up for Slots Labs at ProfessorSlots.com/SL? Well, I should have. The next episode of the Professor Slots podcast will include another slots-related topic, a review of the slots industry in Kentucky, and another thoroughly enjoyable live stream Q&A session. That's the end of another great episode of the Professor Slots podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I plan to have the next episode come out very soon for you, where I'll have more amazing content for the show. Until the next episode, have fun, be safe, and make smart choices. Bye.